Hello everyone, welcome to Grow Your Future with Luxland. I am Zah, your host, CEO of Luxland Investments. Today we are joined by Jade and Mark. How are you guys?
Very well, how are you?
I'm tired.
Yes.
But I'm also pumped.
Exhausted. Half and half.
Yeah, we are pretty tired. We've been at an event all day, haven't we?
Man, it was a pretty full-on day, you know. But we had superstar Gary Vee at the end, which made it all worth it.
Definitely.
He's incredible, isn't he?
He's amazing. I'm on a high after seeing him today. Like he's my Drake. He's the version you guys love Champagne Papi out there, and no disrespect to him, I love his music, but Gary Vee is my Drake. So
yeah,
it was
very
awesome.
very very inspirational, and you know it's 8:00 now, and we don't usually do this podcast this late, but you know we've still got plenty of energy left because of him.
Yeah, we certainly do.
So Mark, what are we talking about today? What's the topic?
Guys, we've got another interesting topic this week. It's ways to identify your strongest supporters. Now, this is something where I guess a lot of us struggle to see, I feel anyway. We're always worried about the people around us, our immediate network, what they're going to think and whatnot. But as JT Fox said, another speaker we saw today, unless they're going to buy your product or want a part of your product or something like that, it doesn't matter what they think. So just to give you guys a quick rundown, support, bear all or part of the weight of basically to hold up. Number 2 is give assistance to, especially financially. So these are the definitions of what support mean. There are 4 different categories surrounding how to identify your strongest supporters, and they care about you. Number 1, they work to make you successful by understanding you. They're honest with you, and they hold you accountable for your actions. And I'm going to go in a little bit of a role reversal today. Zah, they hold you accountable for your actions. I know you're big for this. You're very big because you hold everyone around you accountable, but you also need the same thing for you as a leader. So do tell us, have you identified your strongest supporters over the years, or are you still finding who they are to this day?
I think we can probably change this topic to identify your strongest haters.
Okay.
Because it's one of those things where people think that, well, they like to think that certain people support them, but in actual fact, they hate on them.
Yep.
And I went through this pretty early on in my business career, and I thought that the closest people around me were my supporters, but really at the end of the day, they were my haters. And there's not many people who have been by my side since day one.
Yep.
You identify who your true supporters are, every day, and it's funny because there's a lot of people out there that will continue to surprise you. And when I think back on it now, the people who still support me from day one, I just never really would have thought that they were going to be lifelong supporters. And it's just weird how life plays out.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the more successful you become, or the more sort of grand your ideas become, a lot of people tend to shy away from it, and they become intimidated by it. They become overwhelmed, and they can't accept you for who you are and what you're about, and they tend to shy away from it, and they'll tend to critique it, and they'll be very negative towards it, and unfortunately, most of the time they're the closest people to you. They could be your best friends from school. They could be your family. Like my family were very unsupportive at one point in my life. Now they're super supportive. So identifying your supporters is going to be something that you're going to have to work on every single day, because your fan base is always going to change. You're going to filter out a lot of bad people out of your life, and a lot of good people are going to come in, and it's a constant sort of process. A lot of people I've got a lot of haters. I feel like I've got a lot of haters, and when I say haters, they're silent haters. So we've talked about silent mentors before, where those mentors don't know that we're actually following them as mentors.
Yep.
There's a lot of silent haters out there where they don't make it public or known that they're hating on you, but you know when they don't support you. So, for example, like if you haven't seen someone for a very long time, and they know exactly what you've been up to, but they don't even ask, or they don't even say anything about what you do. They don't even ask how you're going, right? With that certain thing that you're doing. I classify those people as haters. A lot of people will say, "Oh no, they're just neutral." No, they're haters, because if they know you're putting your everybody knows that you're putting your heart and soul into your business or whatever it is, your goals that you're trying to achieve, at least have the decency to ask how you're going, because I give that time to everybody else. So if I know someone else is giving it a good crack at whatever it is that they're doing, doesn't matter if I'm a supporter of it or not, right? I always ask how they're going.
Yep.
So how I identify a hater is when they say, when people they just don't want to have a part of what you're doing, right? And and then you slowly filter those people out. And so identifying your strongest supporters are usually your customers, because if you deliver unbelievable amounts of value to your customer fan base, then those people are generally going to support you.
Definitely. Jade, moving on over to you. Do you hold others in your line of work very accountable, especially in the position that you're in? Or, is it role reversal as well? You've told us on a couple of occasions where you have an EA, I think it is, who basically holds you accountable for quite a lot. But, with that said, you've also got a whole team that you've got to keep accountable. How is that? Is that a difficult task? Because it's hard enough sometimes to keep one person in check, and aligned, and even yourself included. So how is it dealing with the whole team?
Look, we were listening to Gary Vee today, and he said something really profound and which really hit me in the face. He said, if you expect people to work just as hard as you, then give them some equity in your company. That, for me, I've got really high standards, and it's probably a little bit of a flaw, because I hold everyone accountable, absolutely accountable for their actions, and I'll question why they weren't performing and why they did what they did, because I want everyone to be A players. But when you going back to the topic, when you're identifying your strongest supporters, they hold you accountable for your actions, because they truly care. That they genuinely care, and they genuinely give a shit about what you're doing and how far you've come, and the journey that you're on. They want to be a part of it, and they want to support you no matter what. If you fall down, or if you're celebrating success, they're the really authentic people. Maybe they work for you, maybe they're your family, maybe they're not your family.
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone, but it's just, and it doesn't matter where you are in your life. It could be, for our listeners out there, it could be someone in your workplace, if it's someone at home, if it's your neighbour or whatever. It's easy to identify when you identify the key traits of someone that does support you. But let me tell you, entrepreneurship and, hustling and grinding it out day in, day out, like everyone seems to do these days, it really is, if you're really doing that, it's a lonely road. So your supporters might be few and far between, and you have to be okay with that. So when we talk about ways to identify your strongest supporters, be okay with not having a lot. You don't need an army of people cheering you on.
Well, I lost all my friends. When I went into the business, I basically lost all my friends. Because people look at you as someone who's just obsessed with what you're doing, and you're looked at as someone who doesn't have a social life and all of those sort of things. And it's like, well, I can't run this business and do all of those other things as well. So you are going to lose a lot of friends. And I actually found it quite hard to accept when I was going into business with myself. I was like, why do all these people don't like me? What's wrong? What's wrong with me? I'm a good guy. Do you know what I mean? Because I try and do the right thing by everyone, right? Whether it's through in my personal life or in business, I always try and give opportunity where I can and just do the right thing by everyone. So I was really surprised when people started dropping off. But what I didn't realise is that when I started to really excel in business, I attracted a new circle of people. Not people I went to school with, not my family or anything like that, but people who also wanted to succeed. People who were also fellow entrepreneurs. People who were also obsessed with their businesses. People who were also really, really wanting to educate themselves to just be better and be better people in general. So it's the law of attraction again. Those people tend to gravitate towards each other as well. And you make new friends. You know, you gain new supporters. So if you can get over, push through that barrier of not being accepted and people hating on you and people being negative towards what you're doing, it gets better because you will make a new network of people who are interested in the same things as what you're interested in. Unfortunately, many of us come from a background where, you know, we went to high school and we all want to be friends with these people forever. But when you're really going off onto a path where few are going on, people aren't going to really accept it, right? But then you're going to pick up more people along the way.
Yeah.
You know,
it's an evolving
thing. You know, like it's the same with our staff. You know, like in all of our businesses, in the last 8-9 years, like we've had to filter through so many staff and business partners who don't want to be a part of our value model, right? And it's taken us so long to attract the right people, but the people that I have in my team now in all of my businesses they're unbelievable. You know, I want those people for life. And those people might go off and do different things and start wanting to, you know, be negative. I don't know. You know, you just never know what the future holds. But that's okay. Those people will drop off. They can go, right? Because they're not going to fit in our business model. But then new people are going to come and replace them, right? So for those listeners that are listening out there, it does get better if you're in the middle of a sort of like a transition where I find that a lot of people are, where they can't accept that they have to let go of some of the people that they went to high school with and they partied with and all of those sort of people. It's okay, you know, let those people go because they're like anchors weighing you down. Keep moving forward. New people will start coming on board, and you'll have a fan base that follows you.
There's one point here I really like. It's number 3. They're honest with you. That's something that I find you get a lot of.
It's rare.
Yeah, it is rare. It is very rare. You get, a lot of people will say something just for the sake of saying it. So you're like, oh,
fake.
Do you like this? Yeah, I like it.
Most
It's
people
great.
are fake, and we're in the
Yep.
eastern suburbs here, right? And most people in the eastern suburbs are fake, right? And that's what I've found.
Yep.
You know, people just want to say what you want to hear, right? But what we want to hear, we don't want to be told something that is not true, because it's going to be misleading for us, right? And what's going to happen is that the truth will be uncovered further down the track, and then it all blows up into, you know, something that, you know, we're all unhappy about. So what we need to do is constantly tell each other the truth, right? Whether it's good or bad, right? Obviously, the delivery needs to be worked on, so, you know, we don't toy with each other's emotions too much. But it's about self-awareness. You know, we need to know what we're good at and what we're bad at. And it's important to have those around you that lift you up when you need it, right? And then vice versa for them.
Yeah, definitely. Jade, something you'd probably recognise a lot of in your industry is they care about you. How many people basically don't care about you from the field of work that you're in? You know, it's a very broad question, but it's
an odd. I mean, it's an odd thing to talk about, to be honest. I think, you know, I'll go home at night and I'll talk about it because it's easy to talk about it with your loved ones, but people just, it's a dog-eat-dog world.
Certainly is, yeah.
And, you know, Australia, and it was spoken about today, and it was, whilst we were super inspired today, but, you know, we talked about how we listened to amazing American speakers saying they come to Australia and it's like tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's, you know, let's just talk